My beloved child, today is not like any other day, not because of the weather or circumstances, but because the gate between this world and the eternal realm is being opened, and the message I desire to deliver to you carries the full weight of heaven. Sit down, quiet your soul, and let my spirit move through each layer of your emotions, planting within you a truth that has long been hidden. My child, this is not a coincidence, not the echo of imagination, nor a fleeting emotion. This is a summons from eternity itself, where time holds no dominion and all things exist in the brilliance of truth. I have heard your silent prayers. I have counted every tear you've shed in secret during the long nights when no one else was aware. I have seen the moments when you smiled in front of others, even as your heart wrestled with questions unanswered and vague doubts too painful to name. Today, I come to confirm what you've been sensing all this time is not baseless. It is my spirit awakening something within you, a sacred awareness. A profound unveiling for the appointed time has come to reveal a part of your story that has long remained in shadow. My child, there is a soul someone in your family who, though they have departed from this world, has never ceased to love you. They have not found rest, for there remains something unfinished, something that concerns you, and the truth that has been hidden behind a veil of deception. My dear one, you are not alone in the thoughts that once made you feel like you were losing your mind. It is no accident that certain dreams keep repeating, that memories resurface without cause, or that strange sensations stir whenever a certain name is mentioned. That person now on the other side of life has pleaded with me for the chance to speak, because they know that if this truth is not revealed now, you may continue on never knowing what could have changed everything, drawing you closer to the destiny I have written for you. Child, this truth is not a trivial matter. It concerns an inheritance that is rightfully yours, not only in material wealth, but also a financial blessing appointed long ago, one that should have reached your hands but was obstructed by invisible forces and the deliberate actions of others. You have walked through life, bearing a weight you could not explain. You sensed something being withheld, something concealed, but you could never quite touch it. Today I come to tell you, you were not mistaken. On the contrary, you were right to feel it, because it was the alarm bell of the spirit realm, calling out from the depths. The one who watches over you has seen it all. They saw you being excluded from crucial decisions. They witnessed documents being altered, meetings held without your presence, and whispers in the dark where injustices were planned and executed. You once thought these were only vague suspicions, but I now affirm they were the beginning of the truth. For nothing is hidden that will not be revealed, nor anything secret that will not be known and brought to light. Luke 8:17. My word never returns void. So, my child, do not turn your face away from what I am now uncovering. For while you hesitate, the forces of deceit are still entrenched, clinging tightly to what rightfully belongs to you. You were not destined to live in lack, while those who have taken your portion live in comfort on the sweat and tears of others. I do not tolerate such injustice. This is the hour in which I begin to restore, but I need you to step into the light of truth for that restoration to unfold. My beloved child, there is an appointed time in every life and hour when all that has been hidden must be brought into the light, when tangled webs are unraveled, and every distorted truth must be corrected by my righteous hand. You are standing in that very moment now. And so I declare to you, What was once done in the shadows can no longer remain concealed. I am the Lord Jehovah, the one who searches hearts and examines every path. And I have seen it all. The things done quietly behind your back, the secret dealings. The times your name was deliberately erased from important documents, none of it has escaped my eyes. I waited for my hour, not because I overlooked these things, but because I waited for the precise moment to restore what was yours in a way that is both complete and unshakable. That moment has come, and you cannot ignore what is now being revealed. Do you remember those times when your soul was strangely unsettled at the mention of a certain family member? Have you ever stood before old photographs or what seemed to be lifeless heirlooms and felt a stirring you could not explain? That was more than nostalgia, it was a sign from me. Because that person, the one who departed this world but never left your heart, has been trying to reach you with an urgent message. They cannot rest until the truth comes to light. They have seen how you were misled, how others tried to make you believe you were insignificant, unworthy, or not close enough to receive your rightful inheritance. But I declare to you, you are the rightful heir. You have not been excluded. You are not the one forgotten. Even if the documents have been altered, even if your name no longer appears in print, in my book, the Book of Life and of Eternal Truth, you are engraved as the one chosen to receive that blessing. My child, there is a portion, both material and spiritual, that was always meant to be yours. But there have been forces, both human and demonic, working to keep it from reaching your hands. They moved swiftly, cunningly, and in secret, thinking that if they buried it deep enough, no one would ever come looking. But I am the one who excavates the deepest layers of memory, history, and the destinies of my children. Nothing is ever truly forgotten before me. Listen carefully. I am not only exposing what was hidden, I am restoring it to its rightful place, into the hands of the one who deserves it, into your hands. The wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. Proverbs 13:22. I have not allowed what belongs to you to be permanently transferred to another. Recall the signs. Have you recently noticed a series of repeating numbers? Has a name suddenly surfaced in your mind-zone you had long forgotten? Have you dreamed of a distant place, rich with childhood memories? These are not coincidences. They are promptings from my spirit, awakening your spiritual memory so that you might begin to recognize how I am mapping the road to restoration. The things others assumed were too deeply buried, too complicated, or too tangled to ever be made right, I will untangle in a moment. I am not limited by human processes. I do not require the approval of those who once rejected you. I only need your willingness to walk with me, to trust in me, to allow truth to illuminate every hidden corner of pain and doubt within you. You may be wondering, but how could this have been hidden for so long? Why did no one ever tell me? Why didn't that loved one say anything before they passed away? My child, it was because the appointed time had not yet come. There are things that require direct intervention from heaven so that they are not only revealed, but dealt with in divine righteousness. That person the soul now resting in Metrid many times to reach you through dreams, through inner impressions, through subtle urgings in your spirit, but you were still too wounded, too entangled in toxic relationships, and surrounded by voices that made you question your own worth. Now, after I have severed certain ties from your life, after some relationships have ended by divine arrangement, the soil of your heart is finally clear enough for this seed of truth to be sown and to flourish. I am the one who plants, the one who waters, and the one who causes all things to grow. And now, your harvest of justice has come. My child, incline your heart and listen to what I am speaking. Do not be quick to dismiss the emotions rising within you in this moment. They are not confusion, they are awakening. This is the beginning of a journey of discovery, where you will not only uncover the truth but rediscover yourself. Reclaim what was stolen, and step into an entirely new chapter of your life. A chapter where lack is no longer your companion, but where divine provision flows abundantly from my own hand, the hand of the one who knows you, loves you, and has never forgotten what belongs to you. My beloved child, I speak to you again so this truth may be etched deeply into your soul. Truth cannot be imprisoned forever. Even if man tries to conceal it, even if the wicked build walls of deception, light will still pierce through and expose all things in the appointed time. And that time is today. This is the season for you to step out of the darkness of manipulated innocence. This is the moment when I tear the veil that has long shrouded the inheritance that belongs to you. The loved one who departed from this world has been crying out before me, and I, the faithful God, do not turn a deaf ear to the intercession of those who have loved you in purity. Their voices have reached my throne, and now I act. There was once an agreement made without your presence. Certain people close to you sat at a table and signed documents you should have known about. They believed that if you didn't know, you wouldn't be hurt, that handling everything quietly would be easier for everyone. But what they didn't understand is that I do not permit justice to be set aside for the sake of convenience. I do not allow silence to replace righteousness. My child, a portion of blessing regarding inheritance more than just money, but also influence, land, and documents has been hidden from your sight. It has not vanished. It has not been lost. It has merely been diverted, like a river dammed to change its course. But I have come to break open those barriers. The river of provision I ordained for your life will flow once more, and no one will be able to stop it. My child, the woman you trusted, the one who always appeared kind and willing to help, has, in fact, been part of this delay. I know you don't want to believe that. I know your heart chose to forgive, chose to see the good in everyone. But you must understand this: mercy does not mean blindness. Forgiveness does not mean surrendering to deceit. I am opening your eyes not to sow bitterness, but so you may walk in wisdom. It was she who interfered in matters concerning that inheritance. She spoke untruths. She made decisions not rooted in love, but in greed and fear. Fear that if you knew the truth, you would lay claim to what is rightfully yours. And yes, today I declare, you must reclaim it. Not with anger, but with holy resolve. Not by vengeance, but by walking with me, allowing me to do what only I can do. Others chose silence. They did not openly betray you, but they also did not stand up to defend you when the opportunity was there. They stayed quiet when they saw you being excluded, perhaps out of fear of offending someone, fear of becoming collateral damage, or simply because they thought you would never find out. But their silence did not silence me. I saw the tears you shed when no one was watching. I heard the sighs that escaped you every time a relationship you once trusted turned vague and uncertain. Now, I am causing the truth to resonate merely to expose others, but to heal you, for the truth shall set you free. My child, I do not want you to go on living with a lingering sense of lack that you cannot quite name. I do not want you to continue walking with an invisible void in your heart. That is why I have sent this message to you today, so that you may know you are not crazy. You are not imagining things. You are not weak for asking questions. And you are not wrong for seeking the truth. The dreams you've had lately, the strange scenes, the familiar faces reappearing, each of them carries a message. You may find them fragmented, confusing, but they are the whispers of a loved one's soul reaching out to yours. I have allowed them to speak, because the love they carry for you has not been severed by death. Love is not buried with the flesh, and true care is not bound by time. They have always stood by your side. And now, alongside my angels, they are urging you to step into a journey of discovery and restoration. You are about to receive signs, perhaps, a strange phone call, a misdirected message that seems meaningless, or an unexpected encounter with someone you thought you'd never see again. Do not dismiss them. These are the links that will lead you to the rest of the truth. I will not let you stumble blindly in the dark. I will illuminate your path, step by step. The small details will gradually come together into a greater picture, and you will see that every broken piece, seemingly disconnected, holds a purpose. But you must be willing to receive, ready to look truth in the face, even if it hurts at first. For only when you fully understand what happened can I bring complete restoration and lead you into a new chapter where blessings are no longer hindered and justice is no longer delayed. My beloved child, now is the time for you to prepare your heart not only to hear, but to walk with a courage you've never known before. For what I am about to do in your life is no longer like seeds hidden beneath the soil, but like righteousness blooming in broad daylight. This is no longer the season of waiting, no longer the time of delay. This is the moment when I, the faithful one, set everything into its rightful place, not by your own strength, not through human reasoning, but by the power of divine justice. Look around you. Remember the days that seemed to pass in vain. The doors that slammed shut for no clear reason. They were not signs of failure, but proof that something in the spiritual realm had once been blocked. But today, I am removing those invisible barriers. I am breaking the ancient chains the enemy forged to keep you confined. I declare now, the blessings that belong to you shall no longer be withheld. The truth has entered its appointed time of fulfillment. The loved one who is now with me has not ceased pleading on your behalf, imploring me that you might know the truth, that you might no longer live under a veil of manipulated innocence, and that your soul would no longer wander in the shadows of nameless uncertainties. They love you more than you have ever imagined. That love has transcended the boundary between life and death. And now, they are working alongside my angels, intervening in the earthly realm so that what rightfully belongs to you may be restored. They have seen the documents hidden away in drawers, have witnessed the secret meetings where your name was crossed out, and have clearly heard the scheming words spoken behind your back. They know every number, every signature, every person present in that historical moment when a blessing meant for your life was stolen by greed and deceit. They carried that anguish into eternity, and yet they have not turned their gaze away. Even now, they continue to pray for this very hour, the hour of restoration. My child, do not be afraid when what I am about to reveal begins to shake your trust in certain people. There are those whom you once leaned on, those you never suspected, yet they were complicit in deception. I do not unveil this to plunge you into bitterness, but to set you free in truth. For only when you see clearly what has taken place can I remove the invisible burden you have carried for so many years. You once asked, "Why do I keep struggling financially? Why do doors that seemed ready to open suddenly close without warning today?" I give you the answer. Because something that once belonged to you, a portion of your inheritance, a financial blessing, was unjustly diverted. It was meant to be a stream of provision, destined by me to empower you for a greater purpose, to build, to give, and to become a vessel of blessing to others. But that flow was blocked, and from that moment, abnormalities began to surface in your life. I declare, you were not born to live in lack, nor were you meant to borrow affirmation from the world. You were created to inherit not merely in the physical realm, but in the spiritual as well. You are a child of covenant, a rightful heir to the promises spoken over generations past. And what was once stolen from your hands will be restored to you, down to the very last detail. Steady your heart, for in the days ahead, you will begin to hear stories that at first may seem trivial. But if you listen with your spirit, you will discern the clues. A stranger might say something that sends a tremor through your soul. An old document may fall into your hands by chance, unlocking a flood of forgotten memories. A message, a photograph, a conversation cut short. Each of these will be pieces I use to lead you back to the truth. Nothing lies outside of my plan. No whisper is wasted when I choose it to testify of justice. My beloved, this is the season in which I bring justice into motion. And you are the central figure in a verdict that has been destined for reversal. The enemy believed he had won, but he did not account for my timing. He did not know that in heaven, every detail has been recorded. Not a single moment has been missed. I remained silent only until the appointed hour, and now I will act with speed and wonder. Those who once lived off what was meant for you will tremble when the truth is revealed. Those who once belittled you will stand in awe as I defend you openly. And you yourself will be amazed at how I move, not only reclaiming what was lost, but adding something new, so that you may know I am not only the righteous one, but also the abundant giver. My child, this is not the story of someone broken, but the journey of one who has been restored to become a vessel of restoration for others. You are about to enter a season where honor will be returned, where prosperity will be restored, and where the trust that was once stolen will be healed. But it all begins with truth, and that truth now stands at the threshold of your heart, knocking, waiting for you to open. When a new season begins, heaven and earth display their signs. The little bird knows when to leave the nest and take flight. The seed knows when it must break to sprout forth. And your Sulif, you will listen, will also discern when heaven is speaking. I declare to you, the signs have already been given, not by coincidence, but by my purposeful design. A number that repeats again and again, a name that surfaces in a crowd, an old memory that suddenly awakens. These are whispers from eternity, reminders that you have not been forgotten, and that what belongs to you is returning. No sign is meaningless when it comes from my hand. My child, your loved one who is now in glory beside me has been granted special permission to intercede and speak on your behalf. They have seen what your eyes have not yet seen. They know the quiet heartache within you, and they are aware of the inheritance that has been held captive by those who have no right to possess it. That soul has not rested, not because of bitterness, but because of an unbroken, divine love. That love has compelled them to come before me again and again, crying out, "Lord, let the one I love know the truth. Deliver what was once deceived. And I have heard, I have seen, I have moved. The truth is now advancing toward you like a rising tide from the sea distant at first, but soon to flood in. Unstoppable. Observe how I operate. I never act without first giving signs. Those dreams you once dismissed as strange, those vague impressions you could never quite put into words, that was my Holy Spirit at work. There were times you felt a chill pass through as you entered an old room, as if someone was standing there watching. There were nights you awoke in silence, feeling a nameless longing. You thought it was just emotion. But I say to you, it was a calling, an awakening, a signal that something forgotten was returning to the light. You are not imagining things. You are not fragile. You are being awakened. You are about to step into a time when scattered pieces will begin to reconnect. An old friend may call. A faded photograph might fall out of a worn album. A box of documents you once deemed useless may hold a vital clue. And perhaps even the very person who once tried to keep things hidden will, unintentionally, let a part of the truth slip from their lips. Do not underestimate the small details. You are the one chosen to reopen the door that was once shut. And I am placing the key in your hand. This key is not made of metal, but of divine discernment, a gift from me that allows you to see what others overlook, to understand what others dismiss, and to recognize truth even when it is shrouded in the most skillfully woven deception. You may feel afraid, because truth often comes with a cost. When light shines, the things that once hid in the shadows are forced to come into view. A relationship may crack. Someone you respected might disappoint you. But I remind you this: you are not losing anything when you choose to stand on the side of truth. On the contrary, you are reclaiming yourself. For truth not only reveals who is truly with you, but it also reveals who you are, and helps you see clearly the portion of blessing I appointed for you before the foundation of the world. My beloved child, you are not alone. As you step into this journey of discovery, I will send helpers your way. They will not come to control, but to enlighten. A word of counsel, a fresh perspective, an old document, a specialist seemingly introduced by chance. They will arrive right on time. I am rewriting a new chapter of your life, and every character has been carefully chosen. So do not be surprised when someone appears as if they've fallen straight from heaven, for indeed, they come from heaven's plan for you. I know you've been weary. I've seen your heart grow faint after walking in darkness for so long. But hear my voice now, my child. Do not give up. What you are about to uncover will not only bring peace to your own soul, but will also set future generations free from invisible burdens passed down through time. There are curses, entanglements, and destructive patterns that have traveled across generations, but they will stop with you. You are the one I have chosen to break the chain and declare, enough. From this moment forward, everything will change. And for that to happen, you must know the truth, not as others have told it, but as I see it. So when you begin to see signs, do not doubt. When a name makes your heart tighten, when a dream jolts you awake, when an old note brings you to tears, that is me knocking at the door of your heart. Open it. Pray. Ask me, Lord, is this real? And I will confirm it, not with loud thunder, but with a peace that washes over you, with a wisdom you've never had before, with a boldness that doesn't come from man, but from my spirit within you. My child, when truth begins to rise, I need you to walk not just with desire, but with discernment that comes from my Holy Spirit. Doors that were once sealed shut will not open by force or clever speech, but through obedience in prayer and through the light, I shine into the hidden corners of the Spirit, those places where deception has long pretended it had the right to stay. I did not call you into this journey so that you would be consumed by anger or bitterness, but so you might be delivered from silent burdens you didn't even realize you carried. Every truth revealed will not merely be a fact, it will be a puzzle piece returned to its rightful place, helping you see the bigger picture I painted long ago for your life. You were once made to believe that the past should be left undisturbed, that reopening old wounds would only bring trouble. But I declare, a past that remains unresolved is not truly past, it is a chain still binding your soul. The enemy wants you to believe that grief should be hidden, that financial losses, the silence of loved ones, and altered documents are all things of the past. But it is in that sweeping away that injustice has multiplied, and blessings that rightfully belong to you have been locked away by those with no authority over them. My child, I raise my voice so you may know, I have not forgotten. I have not overlooked. In the books of heaven, everything has been written down in full. And now is the time for you to step into a process of justice and restoration. I will not merely reveal what happened, but I will also show you what to do next. You may receive a document that appears to be sent by mistake. Someone may mention an address, a bank, or a meeting long forgotten. All of these will stir a sacred remembrance within you. I have placed within your soul a map, not one drawn with ink on paper, but a divina sensitivity, through which everything you need will be awakened at the appointed moment. You don't have to figure it all out at once. You only need to take the next step, and that step will shine beneath your feet like a lamp, lighting the path of the faithful. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 105. That light will not blind you, but it will always be enough to show you where to place your foot next. My child, as you go forward, know that opposition will arise. They will say you're imagining things, that you're stirring up the past unnecessarily. They will try to make you feel guilty for asking questions. They will use the very love you once gave them to cover up the wrongs they committed. But I have given you the spirit of truth, not to make your heart hard, but to keep you from being manipulated by counterfeit affections. Truth is not always sweet, but it will set you free. And what I desire is for you to be free from the chaos others have left behind. Free from the burden of not knowing. Free from the cycles of lack and unseen wounds that have followed you for years. I will help you face the truth without breaking. In fact, it is in the very moment you confront what hurts the most that you will experience your greatest healing. Not everyone will understand, but you don't need their understanding. You need me, and I am here. I go before you. I lead you. I speak. I make a way through the terrain where no one else can guide you. You will see that those who once denied you will be compelled to acknowledge the truth, not because you shouted, but because I, the Lord Jehovah, have laid my hand upon this matter. And when I testify, no one can dispute it. Those who thought you would never know will be silenced before my light. My child, the restoration I have for you is not just about possessions, it is about wholeness in spirit. It is you standing tall without hiding your pain. It is you smiling without pretending. It is you walking in fullness without being drained by what was never yours to carry. As you begin to reclaim what was stolen, something remarkable will happen. Your trust will be restored. Your spiritual eyes will sharpen. The dreams you thought had died will breathe again. And you will realize this is not merely a journey to uncover the past, but a stepping into the future I have ordained for you since the beginning. You will come to see that what the enemy fears most is not that you find out the truth for revenge, but that you discover it to begin anew. Because from this moment, you will not only be restored, but you will become a conduit of blessing, a voice that rises for justice on behalf of those who, like you, were hidden, rejected, and wounded. You will become the key that opens many doors, not just for yourself, but for an entire generation. My beloved, today I speak to you not as a whispered secret, but as a trumpet sounding from heaven, awakening your soul from the long slumber of forced silence. For too long, the voice of that dear one, the one who loved you, who protected you in life, was muffled by the veil between realms. But now I, the one who transcends both life and death, have removed that barrier, allowing the cry of their heart to reach you. This voice does not come with blame or resentment, but with holy urgency, a message from eternity that says, "Awaken, do not let what was stolen from your hands remain withheld. Do not let truth be buried out of fear of hurting someone. Do not let innocence rob you of the integrity and blessing that were meant to be yours long ago." They have seen it all. From beyond the sacred veil, they have witnessed the moments you doubted yourself when you were convinced, maybe I wasn't important enough to be named. Maybe I wasn't close enough to be included in the inheritance. Maybe I should stay silent to keep the peace. But I say to you, peace built on lies is never true peace. It is a shadow that covers a soul breaking apart. It is a fog that clouds the vision of someone wondering why blessings always seem to pass them by. I did not intend for you to live in that haze. I did not create you to be the one who should have been chosen, but was overlooked. I ordained you to be the heir not only of material wealth, but of the stream of righteousness and grace flowing from generations before you. My child, remember this. I do not allow anyone to enter this world without a distinct portion, a rightful place, and a divinely ordained destiny. And your destinies, yours was once stolen by decisions made behind your back. A portion of inheritance was set apart for you, not due to human favoritism, but by my heavenly appointment. Yet you were cast out of that circle. Your name was once spoken, only to be erased from the records. You were once part of the plan, until that plan was manipulated, twisted by fear, by greed, or simply by the ease with which others could be controlled. Those who were present in that room, the room where you were excluded, never thought you would find out. But I remembered. I saw through it all. And now, I declare, rise up, for truth is waiting for you to walk into it. Often, there was a woman one who presented herself as a friend, a sister, perhaps even a mother who smiled gently, soothed your suspicions with sweet words, and appeared trustworthy. But she played a central role in concealing the portion that rightfully belonged to you. She did not merely remain silent, she covered it up. Not once, but many times, she took advantage of your trust, using it as a key to unlock the door of manipulation. But I will no longer allow that to continue. Not because I want you to look upon her with bitterness, but because I want you to see her with eyes wide open, eyes filled with clarity and discernment, understanding that not everyone deserves to walk with you into this new season of glory. And there are others, those who silently agreed, who signed the documents, who compromised in secrecy. They will face a truth that can no longer be hidden. I will cause their lips to tremble as the light draws near. I will bring hidden documents out from locked drawers. I will stir memories. They tried to bury memories that will rise up suddenly, powerfully, undeniably. No one can stop what I have ordained to be revealed. So, my child, prepare yourself. When the light arrives, it will not only expose others, it will shine upon you as well. You will see things you did not want to see. You will recognize familiar faces that now feel more distant than ever. But I remind you, do not fear, for I am the Lord Jehovah, who walks with you through the shadows of truth, and I will never allow you to walk alone. Your heart may break when you hear words that should never have been spoken. You may feel a sharp ache when you realize that in the room where decisions were made, not one voice rose in your defense. But even in that very moment, you will hear another voice, strong, clear, and full of authority. It is my voice, the voice that declares, now I speak on your behalf. Now I stand for you. Now I reclaim what was taken from you, not just with truth, but with multiplied restoration. And you will witness something remarkable. Though the truth may wound for a moment, it will set you free forever. The invisible chains that once bound your soul will fall away one by one. The limitations you once accepted as fate will dissolve, and a new flow, financial, emotional, and spiritual, begin to pour into your life. Not by chance, but because my justice has been executed. You will know that silence is no longer a burden. The voice of your loved one, once stifled and locked away in eternity, has now been heard. They have spoken, and you have listened. I have declared it, and you have obeyed. Now everything is shifting. The door of truth has been opened, and no one can shut it ever again. My beloved child, when I begin the work of restoration in someone's life, I do not do it hastily, carelessly, or superficially. I begin at the root, at the very place where the wound was first formed, where you were first made to believe that you were unworthy. Because if the soil of your soul still bears the marks of deception, then even when blessings come, they will not be able to bear their full fruit. I say to you, the restoration I am about to bring is not merely about money, not only about the return of what was stolen, but a deep healing of your trust that was fractured, not because of any wrongdoing on your part, but because those you loved withheld the truth. There were papers that were hidden, important documents tucked away, decisions made when you were too young to understand that your rights were being gradually taken from you. There were conversations behind closed doors, promises never recorded, handshakes made in silence, all woven into a thick veil of deceit that overshadowed your life. You lived under that veil without knowing it. You carried the weight of a depleted inheritance, battled adversity without understanding why you had to start from nothing, when in fact, you were meant to begin with a foundation already laid. I saw it all. Not only did I see it, but I also recorded it. And now, as the time has come, this very moment, I am beginning to open the pages of truth for you to read with your own eyes. I have sent angels not only to protect you, but to trace the remnants of what was stolen. A possession, a piece of land, an inheritance may not bear your name on earthly documents, but it is inscribed with your name in the chronicles of heaven. There was a manor, perhaps a woman who once held the keys to that blessing, who stood in a position of authority, and in the name of worldly wisdom, excluded you. They told others it was for the best, that you didn't need it, that you were too young, or not the right fit. But that was not the truth. Those were excuses cloaked in manipulation. And now, you will begin to see those words lose their power. Because true justice is rising stronger than any human argument, you will begin to hear things that were never spoken before. Perhaps someone in the family will casually recall a detail, a seemingly insignificant story, which turns out to be the key that unlocks a vault of hidden truth. Perhaps an old neighbor, a friend of your parents, someone who was present in a meeting long ago, will mention something that shakes your soul. You will find that your memory, long dulled by time, will start to awaken. Pieces you thought were forever lost will begin to come together. Do not be surprised if an old object, a letter, a notebook, or even a legal document suddenly resurfaces. None of it is accidental. It is my hand moving. It is I who am turning things. It is I who am bringing everything into the light. And my child, when the truth comes to light, you will witness something far more profound than material restoration. You will reclaim your voice. You will no longer be silenced. You will no longer be afraid to ask questions. You will no longer nod and remain quiet just to keep the peace. The restoration I bring begins when you look at yourself and say, I deserve to know the truth. I deserve to walk in the light. I deserve all that God has ordained for my life. And from that moment, darkness will no longer rule your mind. The words that once made you doubt yourself will lose their grip. The gazes that once made you lower your head will no longer control your emotions. Because when you stand in truth, you stand in beyond when you stand in me. No force can bring you down. I declare this. Restoration is not merely about reclaiming a portion of what was lost. It is about the cleansing of your honor, your reputation, once tarnished by rumors, by misjudgments, and by deliberate acts meant to obscure your worth, shall be restored publicly by my hand. Those who once assumed you would be forgotten will witness you standing in the position destined for you, not by human favor, but by divine affirmation, and they will not be able to deny it. For the mark of my presence on your life will be too undeniable to refute. Prepare yourself. Restoration begins with the smallest sinza stirring in your spirit, a keepsake resurfacing, a word spoken in passing, but soon it will swell into a tide that cannot be stopped. Be steadfast. Trust deeply. Let my spirit lead you step by step, not in panic, but with supernatural peace. For what I am restoring to you does not come from human hands, but from the treasury of heaven itself. My beloved, as you receive these words, I know something is rising within you on emotion, not easily named. Part of you longs to believe in restoration, but another part is still gripped by fear. You fear that if the truth is brought to light, the foundations of everything you once trusted will collapse. I do not condemn you for this hesitation. I see the cautiousness in you. I understand the fear in your heart that by unearthing what has been buried, you might lose the very people you once leaned on for strength. But my child, I say this with gentleness and truth. It is time to step out from the shadow of the past. Only when you emerge from that darkness can the light reach the deepest places of your soul. The shadow you live under is not only the aftermath of hidden wrongs, but also the result of having learned to stay silent in order to maintain a surface-level peace. You chose not to question, for fear of being labeled rebellious. You chose to endure in silence, so as not to cause division. You trained yourself to smile even when your heart was breaking. And I saw it all. I recorded every time you swallowed your tears, every night you lay awake, wondering why you felt so small in the midst of your own family. Every moment you sensed that something was off, only to be convinced by others that it was all in your imagination. No, my child, you were not imagining it. You heard correctly. You sensed correctly. You saw truly. It was my Holy Spirit within you, whispering, "Wait, for I am about to reveal everything." End quote. Now, I myself am entering the scene of your life as a witness to the truth. I do not come as a stranger. I come as your Father, the Father of righteousness, the Father of light, the Father of all truth. I do not come to condemn, but neither will I allow deception to continue ruling over you. I speak this to you now. There is no true love built upon concealment. There is no lasting peace founded upon forced silence. You have lived too long in an environment where your true feelings were seen as threats, and truth itself was treated as a disturbance. But I am not afraid of the truth, and you do not need to be afraid either. Because in me, the truth does not break you, sets you free. You will no longer need to weigh every word just to preserve a false harmony. You will no longer need to read between the lines of others' intentions. No longer need to tread carefully around certain names. No longer need to suppress your spirit when something feels hidden. Because now, I am exposing, not so that you may retaliate, but so that you may walk in freedom, not to create disorder, but to restore divine order. The truth will not destroy you. It will only destroy the false structures, those faulty foundations that could never survive in my light. You may lose some relationships, but in that loss, you will find yourself. You will be able to look into the mirror and no longer see the doubting gaze of your own reflection. You will stand on solid ground, no longer shaken by the silent questions that once stirred within you. My child, there is something I want you to understand. Your doubts, your questions, your search for truth, they do not make you sinful. On the contrary, they are signs of courage. They are a response to the call of my spirit. For I am the one who delights in truth in the inward parts, Psalm 51:6. And I have planted that longing deep within your heart. Truth does not weaken you. It is concealment that exhausts the soul. You are stepping into a season where I will clothe you in new garments, garments of wisdom, garments of strength, garments of holy boldness, not impulsiveness, not retaliation, but the steady stance of one who knows who they are, who knows what is true, and who will no longer consent to live in the gray areas of ambiguity. The one you loved whose soul now rests in me does not wish for you to carry this burden of silence any longer. They once witnessed your loss, unable to speak out while still on earth. They tried in various ways to warn you, and now, by my mercy, they have been granted the chance to deliver to you their final message, the voice they could never utter aloud, yet always held close in their spirit. They want you to know that you are not crazy, not weak, not selfish for wanting to know the truth. They want you to understand that they saw what happened in the shadows, and they cannot rest in peace unless it is brought into the light. Child, true healing begins the moment you dare to look directly at what once caused you pain. And this I promise you, I will not let you face it alone. I will be there in every hard conversation. I will be there when long-buried memories begin to surface. I will be there when others reject you for choosing truth. I will be there when your tears fall not out of pain, but out of liberation. And then you will see, once again, I was right when I said the truth will set you free. John 8:32. My beloved, as the light begins to shine into the corners that were once hidden, you will start to witness clear signs of resistance. Not everyone welcomes the truth. Not everyone is ready to acknowledge what they've worked so hard to bury. And not all the people you once trusted will walk with you through the path of restoration. But fear not, my child. I, the Lord your God, am standing beside you, not as a silent observer, but as a warrior for truth, as a defender who will not retreat before any power. There will be those who come to you and try to deny everything you've uncovered. They will call it a misunderstanding, a misremembered event, a manipulated imagination. Some will grow defensive. Others will appear kind, yet manipulative, using soft tones to distort the truth and make you doubt your own spiritual discernment. But child, do not let eloquent words blur the spiritual vision I have given you. The truth does not need embellishment. It stands on the weight and clarity of its own light. Those who fear the truth will try to cover it with the fog of emotion. But remember, my Spirit does not bring confusion. He brings clarity. What comes from me will never leave you disoriented. Even when you are facing a harsh reality, it will carry with it a deep, anchoring peace. There may be moments when you find yourself feeling alone among familiar faces. Family meals may grow tense. Eyes that once looked at you with warmth may now gaze with suspicion. Conversations that once felt close may suddenly become distant. But my beloved, I say to you, it is better to be lonely for the sake of truth than to be accepted in the midst of falsehood. I am not letting you walk through this season to hurt you, but to test your heart, to prove that the faith you hold in me is not shallow or fleeting. This is a season where you will walk by faith, not by feelings. This is the time when my promises over your life will come alive not through ease, but through righteous battles that you will fight and win with unwavering trust in me. I have given you spiritual weapons that no one can take away, the wisdom to know when to be silent and when to speak, the steadfastness to remain unshaken by emotional pressure, and the supernatural comfort in moments of misunderstanding. Every time you stand for truth, you do not stand alone. There are angels behind you. There are prayers that have been lifted years ago by loved ones now resting in me. And above all, there is me, the one who never slumbers, who knows every whispered word and every tear that falls walking ahead of you, clearing the path before you, and fighting for you in the unseen places. My child, remember this: opposition does not mean you are wrong. The silence of those who once called you friend does not mean you are alone. I allow masks to fall, not to break your heart, but to reveal who truly walks with you in the light. This is a season of separation. I am drawing the line between what is real and what is counterfeit, between the faithful and the pretenders. What was once blurred will now become unmistakably clear. And this is an essential part of your healing process. And while everything is shifting, I ask you to guard your heart from bitterness. Do not let disappointment shut your heart down. Do not let the betrayal of a few stop you from believing in goodness. I do not want you to become hardened. I want you to become strong yet tender, resolute yet loving, for it is in forgiveness that you will find true freedom. but you cannot forgive what you are too afraid to face. That is why I am helping you confront, little by little, so that you can forgive from a place of understanding, not from denial. I also remind you that restoration doesn't always come in a single day. There will be parts you will see. Immediately, door opens. A document comes to light. A debt is repaid. But there will also be parts that come gradually through filtered relationships, through honor being restored, through trust being rebuilt. Do not rush. Do not be impatient. I am more skillful than any craftsman. What I am rebuilding in you is not a fragile tent, but a solid house, one that no storm can topple. A place your future generations can enter, not carrying a legacy of pain and silence, but one of strength and truth. My child, when your heart begins to grow weary, remember this: I did not choose you to keep the peace, but to pave the way for justice. You are the one upon whom I have laid my hand, so that through your miraculous restoration, my name will be glorified. You will be a sign to others that God does not turn a blind eye to injustice, that He has a perfect timing, and that He will never let the cries of the righteous vanish into nothingness. So do not back down. Do not be confused. Do not compromise with the darkness simply because it feels familiar. I am calling you out not to destroy you, but to bring you into a new land where everything is true, where everything is clear, and where everything begins with a voice that is no longer silenced, your voice, standing firm in the storm, resounding with these words: I am a child of truth. I am the rightful heir, and I will be silent no more. My beloved child, I speak to you now with unwavering clarity. No one can withhold your destiny when I have commanded it to be released. That which was once hidden, bound by selfish decisions, and delayed by the fear and greed of others is now being reclaimed by me and returned to your hands. This is not a matter of chance, nor is it coincidence. It is the public act of the Almighty, the one who holds the scales of justice and does not let a single tear of yours fall to the ground unmeasured. You are not merely called a survivor, you are called an heir. No one can undo what I have spoken over your life. You once believed that you had to settle for less, that perhaps goodness and blessing were appointed for others, but not for you. You heard whispers in your soul saying, be content with what you have. Don't dig any deeper. But I have come to silence those voices, for they did not come from me. I did not form you to live in compromise with falsehood. I did not call you to walk in passive resignation. I have called you to step into the portion I set apart for you, not merely enough, but abundance, not only at the right time, but as the right person, not just for rescue, but to lift you out of hardship. For I have declared, you shall be the head and not the tail. You shall be above only, and not beneath. Deuteronomy 28:13. And I do not take back what I have spoken. My child, I know there are still unresolved questions in your heart. Perhaps you are still asking, why did this happen to me? Why was it in my own family that truth was twisted? But, my dear one, you are living in a fallen world, a world where even those who claim to love one another can be deceived by selfishness. Do not let this paralyze your soul. Do not let pain turn you into a cynic. I have not called you to become numb, but to become discerning, so you may distinguish between what is true and what is false, between wisdom from heaven and schemes of the flesh, between those who walk with you out of genuine love and those who hold you back for personal gain. Each time you allow me to clearly separate these things, you will feel your heart grow lighter, not because everything becomes easy, but because you no longer have to live in the fog of confusion. Let me remind you again, what has been delayed is not denied. What I have appointed for you cannot be permanently claimed by another. Funds that were diverted will return. Inheritances that were stripped of your name will be re-examined. Files long forgotten in old cabinets will suddenly resurface. Witnesses who seem to have forgotten will suddenly recall. That is my hand at work. That is me moving through both angels and people to return to you what rightfully belongs to you. Be ready to receive. Prepare your heart. Do not be disoriented. When miracles come in ordinary forms, a chance phone call, a brief conversation between strangers, a name that keeps echoing in your spirit, these are confirmations from heaven, not coincidences. You will see my hand moving in every area, in justice, in finances, in emotions, and in relationships. I will remove those who no longer belong in the next chapter. I will add new ones, people who do not bring deceit, but integrity, who do not manipulate, but uplift. Trust this process, my child, though it may hurt at first. In the end, it will usher in a season beyond anything you've dared to dream, a season of clarity, of lightness, of true rest within. You will no longer need to pretend you are okay. You will truly be okay. And on the day you rise, with no more burdens on your shoulders and no longer suffocated by unspoken things, I will place a new song in your mouth, a song of one who has truly experienced restoration. You will become a living testimony to those who, like you once did, carry the weight of silence. You will be a gateway that leads others into truth, not through theories, but through the healed story of your own life. You will know that everything you went through was not meaningless, but an indispensable part of my great plan of restoration. My beloved child, when truth has been sown into your heart like a seed from eternity, I want you to know that a new door is being opened before you. Not a door of doubt or hesitant choices, but a door of destiny that has already been appointed. It is the place where all things that were delayed, stolen, or hidden are now being brought back into the light of truth. This is the moment when you stop living in reaction and begin to live in power. You will no longer be swept along by what others left behind for you, but will instead step boldly into what I have prepared since before the foundation of the world. You used to believe that the things that happened to you were merely a string of random losses without explanation. You sighed in the darkness and dared not utter the thought, "Is this really all my life will be?" But I say to you, not a single event, not one delay in your life has been random. Even the wounds are reminders that you were called to step out from the crowd. Even the rejections were orchestrations to free you from the rotten systems that misassigned you from the beginning. Now, you have been purified through affliction, forged in silence, refined in the furnace to be weakened, but to be made ready to step into your new destiny with steady, unwavering feet. Imagine this, my child. A door made of pure gold is slowly opening. It is not opening because of human pleading. It is not opening out of pity. It opens because I have called your name among multitudes, and the time has come for you to walk through. On the other side of that door is an entirely new chapter where honor is restored, blessings overflow, and divine rest is no longer a theory, but a living experience. Yet to walk through it, you must leave some things behind, not because they are worthless, but because they no longer fit. old expectations, old relationships, old mindsets. I am calling you to lay them down, to step into a new land, the land of fulfillment, the one you love. The soul now resting in me longed to see this day. They once wished they could tell you the truth while still alive. They longed to help you recognize your true worth. But because of circumstances, fear, and the unspoken pressures within the family line, they remained silent. Yet love never dies, and their prayers have outlived their physical life. Their midnight sighs, their helpless terse vary, one of them has been gathered by me like incense rising to my throne. And I have answered. Truth is no longer restrained by death. I have allowed them to speak not through the physical realm, but through dreams, through spiritual impressions, through the divine flow, now stirring in your heart. Through this, what was buried has begun to rise like wheat, breaking through the hardened ground of a desolate field. You may feel your heart trembling. You may say, Lord, how can I dare to move forward? How can I know what is true and what is false? I say to you, be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. When you quiet your heart, I will show you who I have placed beside you, and who it is time to release. I will grant you wisdom to read between the lines, to hear what lies behind the words, to see through the layers of counterfeit smiles. You will no longer be deceived, no longer led by misplaced compassion, no longer weighed down by the opinions of the crowd. I am shaping you into one who is led by discernment, not to fight against others. But so, you no longer have to fight against yourself. My child, stepping into destiny is never easy. It demands courage to say no to compromise. It requires surrendering the roles the world has assigned. You, the role of the silent one, the endlessly agreeable one, the one who suffers in silence on behalf of others. But you were made for more than that. You were called to be a carrier of generational blessing, a breaker of destructive cycles, one who stands at the threshold between deception and truth and declares, this ends with me. I choose justice. I choose light. I choose the Lord. You will no longer need to strain to prove yourself to anyone. The fruit in your life will be the clearest evidence. You will not need to seek revenge, for I will be your avenger. You will not need to raise your voice to demand what is yours, for I will compel others to acknowledge you, not through their words, but through undeniable outcomes. And one day, those who once mocked you, those who remained silent when they should have defended you, will say with awe, truly, the Lord stood with that person. Oh, my beloved, look ahead. Lift your head. Do not let the past, no matter how painful, hold you back. Do not let someone else's mistakes shackle your destiny for even one more day. I have opened the door, and now all of my angels are standing ready, escorting you into a new chapter, not one written with tears, but with glory. A chapter that does not begin in silence, but in a song of victory. There is only one thing you must do. Step forward. My child, as you stand before the door of your destiny, know this: I have not only opened the door for you by my power, I have placed in your hands the key to ensure it will never be shut again. This is not a fleeting gift. It is a divine entrustment. I have waited for the moment when your spirit would be mature, your soul courageous, and your faith unwavering enough to take hold of what was always meant to be yours. And now I say to you, you are ready. The key I give you is not made of gold, nor is it something you can touch. It has been forged in perseverance, in faithfulness, in the nights you kept praying, even when nothing seemed to change, in your decision to stand for truth when everyone else turned away. You once thought an heir was simply someone who received what was given. But I say, a true heir is one who is willing to guard, steward, and walk in the very thing they've been entrusted with. Because destiny is not just a gift, it is a calling. The key of restoration I place in your hand today not only unlocks provision, but also unleashes influence. It places you in a position to build. You will no longer live with the mentality of a survivor, but with the heart of a stewardone who knows that what they've received did not come from their own wisdom, but from the hand of the faithful one. You will see that when you hold the key I have given you, doors will begin to open in remarkable ways. Delayed opportunities will return. Those who turned their backs on you will seek to return. Hearts once closed will suddenly open and speak the truth, not because they've changed their minds, but because I am at work in their hearts. I am the one who can turn stone into flesh, who can soften what was hardened, who can cause silenced mouths to speak what I have ordained. And you will witness this not through arguments, not through demands, but through steadfastness in the Spirit. My child, I say to you, be careful with the key in your hand, for restoration is not given merely for you to enjoy, but for you to steward. If your heart is not kept pure, the key can be dropped. If you let bitterness lead you, you will end up shutting the very door I have opened. But if you choose forgiveness, if you walk in love and humility, you will not only keep the door open, but you will unlock new doors for those who come after you. This is why I have chosen you, because your prayers are not just for yourself, but for others who are still trapped in the same darkness from which you were once delivered. You will become a guide not by knowledge alone, but by the power of your healed experience. Your beloved, the one who went before you, has pleaded earnestly at my throne not only that you would be restored, but that you would be used as an instrument of righteousness. And now, their intercession is being fulfilled. You are living in the manifestation of a prayer spoken from eternity. You are the evidence that no petition lifted up in genuine love ever falls to the ground in vain. Every tear they shed while thinking of you, every time your name was whispered in the night I heard, I remembered, and now I am answering. You will recognize that true transformation begins from within. It will not merely be about external change, a document returned, a sum of money repaid, a truth publicly revealed, but about the shift in your very being. You will no longer carry the spirit of rejection. You will no longer fear the gaze of others. You will no longer feel the need to justify your emotions. I am placing within you a new boldness, not born of anger, but born of knowing who you are in me. You will rise with a new assurance, declaring, I am chosen by God, restored, confirmed, and entrusted. Now, my child, as you walk with this key, you will see doors once closed by men, by circumstance, even by spiritual opposition. We begin to open before you, not because of who you are alone, but because of who I am within you. The enemy will tremble not at your loud declarations, but because you bear the mark of one who has walked through the fire and emerged still loving the truth. That is what makes you dangerous to the kingdom of darkness, and that is what makes you precious in my hands. You are not merely the one who was healed, you are now the one who heals. You are not merely the one who was found, you are now the one who seeks after the lost. Therefore, take the key I have placed in your hand, the key of forgiveness, of wisdom, of divine guidance, and of spiritual boldness. You were chosen not just to survive, but to become a living example. You were rescued not just for your own freedom, but to unlock freedom for many others. My beloved, when you walk through the door I have opened, when the key of restoration is firmly placed in your hand, then I declare to you this crucial truth. The day of my judgment has come upon every falsehood that once surrounded your life. This is not the vengeance of man, but the execution of justice from my throne, where all deceit is consumed in the radiant light of eternal truth. What was once hidden will find no place to hide. What was built upon lies will be shaken. Every faulty foundation will collapse. For I am the Lord, Yehovah, the Holy One, and I will not tolerate wickedness, especially when it has targeted one of my beloved. You once believed that justice would never come, for it seemed the wicked were living in peace. But my child, I do not measure time as man does. I am neither hurried nor delayed. I am the God of mercy. Yet I do not tolerate compromise with darkness. And now, the appointed time has come. There will be no more covering up, no more room for evasion. Those who once held the truth but chose silence will be brought into the light. Those who distorted right and wrong, who used power or position to deceive you, who quietly removed you from what was rightfully yours, all will face my judgment. Yet listen carefully. I do not judge to destroy, but to divide. I do not shake the earth for vengeance, but to strip away the layers of deception that have twisted the truth, the lies you were forced to hear, the actions justified under the guise of being for your own good, the schemes arranged in secret to reroute your blessing. All will be brought into the light, and you will stand there, not to defend yourself, but to witness my justice revealed publicly. I will uncover documents that were once hidden. I will compel silent witnesses to speak. I will bring events once declared closed back to the scales of truth, and this time, the scales will tip in your favor. You will sense the trembling in those who thought you would remain forever silent. They will begin to look at you differently, not because you threaten them, but because my presence upon your life will become too evident for them to deny. I will cause their very lips to speak the truth they once tried to lock away. I will cause their very hands to return what was taken, not out of repentance, but out of fear. When I step in, they will not sleep in peace. They will no longer be able to pretend, for I am the Lord Jehovah, the one before whom even kings must bow when truth is revealed. And you, my child, you will not need to seek revenge. You will not need to lower yourself to confront each one face to face. I will do that for you. Your part is to keep your heart pure, your stance unwavering, and your walk anchored in my name. When the enemy is exposed, you need not fear. When people grow uneasy, you need not mock. When the truth rises, you need not argue. For you do not stand in a human courtroom. You stand in the court of my righteousness, where your voice will no longer be silenced, where evidence cannot be hidden, and where the wicked can no longer laugh in the shadows. I will restore all things, piece by piece. Everything that was taken, whether a number in a financial record, a name erased from a list, or a promise never fulfilled, I will investigate them all. You will see me move through unexpected channels, an honest banker, a silenced lawyer, a bystander who suddenly emerges with the key piece of truth. Nothing is beyond my reach. I do not need an open window to enter. I am the one who created the entire house. And I am now stepping into the very place where truth was locked away to throw the doors wide open, to usher righteousness out into the light. Oh, my child, there will be tears, but not the tears of suppressed pain. These will be the tears of deliverance. You will weep as you hold in your hands the documents you thought were forever lost. You will weep when you hear with your own ears the confession of someone who had only ever been a whisper in your spirit. You will weep not because you are weak, but because you will feel my hand, the hand of the one you once thought was silent, revealing that I had been moving all along. Silently, but with great power. When the day of judgment comes, you will stand firm and unshaken. No one will be able to move you from the foundation I have established. And after everything has been revealed, after justice has been carried out, after the wicked are brought low, I will raise you up in the midst of the crowd and declare, "This is my child, my beloved, the one I have preserved, and the one I have restored." And you will know this, that everything once lost is no longer a regret, but a testimony of what I can redeem in abundance. My beloved child, that day has come, the day when all of heaven holds its breath to listen for the sound of your footsteps returning to your true self. The day when the door of destiny is no longer ajar, but flung wide open to welcome you into the blessings that were always ordained for you. No more delay. No more veils of ambiguity. No more curtains drawn before your eyes. All has been made clear. And I, the Lord Jehovah, the faithful one, now declare, the day of restoration has come to your household. It does not arrive like a fleeting breeze, but like a flood of grace, rushing into every chamber of your soul, sweeping away every shadow that clung to you through the long years of neglect and pain. Child, look and see. Hasn't your own heart been trembling in anticipation? Haven't you, for so long, heard a faint whisper in the night that something was about to shift, that you could no longer remain trapped in the same cycles? That was not imagination. That was wisdom from heaven whispering to your soul. And today, it no longer whispers, it shouts. It is calling your name in the midst of the crowd, amid the noise of misguided voices, declaring, you are the one chosen to reclaim what was stolen. You are the one summoned to rise from the ashes and rebuild with your own hands, not by your own strength, but by the power of the one who rescued you from the silence of darkness. My dear one, you have grown accustomed to living cautiously. You've believed that all blessings were meant for others. You praised my goodness with your lips, yet could not believe that you, too, were worthy to receive it. You thought that if you endured long enough, if you lost enough, that it must have been the fate set for you. But I say this, you were not born to carry the weight of others' deceit. You were not created to dwell in the cramped rooms of fear, constantly questioning whether you should even exist. You were born of my will. You are the outcome of a perfect plan, not the result of a mistake. Therefore, restoration is your rightful inheritance, undeniable and untouchable by any hand. Your dearly departed loved one, their soul is witnessing this very moment. They have longed for the day you would recognize your own worth, the day you would dare to speak the words you have swallowed for years. In the unseen realm, they have sighed, longing for the day when truth would speak for itself. And now, truth is silent no more. It has risen. It has made a way. It has testified on your behalf with evidence that cannot be denied. You no longer need permission to take your place in your own story. You no longer need the approval of those who never valued you. I, your God, am the one who validates you, not merely with words, but with concrete action. You will begin to see the signs of restoration not in grand gestures, but in the small details that only you and I understand. A door opening at just the right moment. An old friend returning to apologize. A document, once thought lost, suddenly found. A word from a stranger that awakens something deep within your heart. These are confirmations from heaven. I do not need to display glory with a spectacle. I plant it in humility. Therefore, do not overlook these seemingly small signs. They are the ringing bells that signal the end of an old season and the gentle yet powerful arrival of a new one. You will see that restoration comes not only in material ways, but first and foremost to your soul. The fractures within your heart will be mended. Lingering envy will be replaced with genuine gratitude. Silent insecurity will dissolve in the light of divine affirmation. And from that place, you will walk as one who was once broken, but is now healed. As one once rejected, but now called by name by the Father himself. No one will have the authority to define you by the wounds of your past anymore. Only I hold the right to name you. And I call you the restored one. I, my child, do not hesitate any longer. Do not let the fears of the past interfere with the present moment. Do not allow your soul to be stolen for even one more second by memories I have already sealed shut. The day of restoration has knocked on your door. I am standing at the threshold of your heart, not waiting for you to let me in, but waiting for you to step out. Step out of captivity. Step out of doubt. Step out of the confines of your worn-out self. And when you do, all of heaven will erupt in celebration. You will no longer be the one scavenging for crumbs of grace, but one who dwells in the land of abundance. You will no longer be the victim of an old story, but a living witness of my transforming power. One day, when someone asks you, "How did you manage to stand firm through so much loss?" you will smile and say, "Because the Father knocked on my heart, and I opened the door." Beloved, the day of restoration does not come merely to heal you, but to entrust you with a sacred responsibility, to become the first flame, the guiding torch, the voice that awakens a sleeping generation. You are no longer just the one who was healed. You are now the bearer of blessing, meant to pass it on. Everything I give you today is not a final reward, but the starting point of a greater calling. You have tasted pain, endured silence, carried nameless fears, and that very experience makes you a precious vessel. Because you understand what it is to dwell in the depths, you will become a voice for those who have been silenced. You will be open arms for those who have never been embraced. You will be confirmation for souls that have always been denied. That is why I allowed you to walk through the darkness, not to be broken, but to understand, not to be destroyed, but to develop a compassion that comes not from the mind, but from a soul that has been pressed in the fire. And now, that fire has become light. It no longer burns you, consumes the chains on others. You will speak without shouting. Your presence will carry more weight than a sermon. Your life marked with healed cracks will become a living portrait of restoration, so that all who see you will know God still works miracles. I say to you, do not hide your scars. Do not be afraid to tell your journey. Do not think you must wait until you're perfect to begin. It is your honesty that will reach places empty doctrines never could. It is your sanctified weakness that will soften even the hardest of hearts. You will enter rooms no one expected you to step into. Sit among those who once dismissed you, and with nothing more than your presence. The atmosphere will shift, not because of your talent, but because you allowed me to shape you, and that, alone, makes you a carrier of power not by title, but by surrender. You will find yourself connected to strangers whose souls will recognize the light within you. You will see young people, lost and searching, come to you not for theory, but for a soul that has overcome. Single mothers, orphans, abandoned fathers, they will all find in you a reminder that they are not invisible. And in those moments, you will understand that your years have not been meaningless. Every tear shed, every sleepless night, every time you chose to pray instead of despair, those were the foundations upon which your mission today is being built. My child, do not wait for human approval. Do not wait for someone to tell you, now is the time. I have already declared it. In heaven, your name is inscribed in the book of forerunners, those who carry the fire of revival. You don't need a business card. You don't need a stage. All you need is a willing heart. And when you open your heart, I will open the way. The doors that were once slammed in your face, I will now open with my own hand. The places where you were once cast out, I will send you back. Not with a spirit of vengeance, but with a heart of deliverance. You will return not to collect a debt, but to extend grace. You will see me putting every piece into place. Relationships that seemed lost, opportunities that seemed closed, dreams that seemed dead, they will be revived by my power. I do not need to start over with someone else. I begin with you, because I do not look at you through the lens of your mistakes, but through the lens of my promise, not through your failures, but through your faith refined by fire, not through the voices of men, but through the blueprint I designed for you before the foundation of the world. You will see those who once betrayed you confronted by the forgiveness you extend, not because they deserve it, but because you have entered a higher dimension where forgiveness is no longer weakness, but a spiritual weapon mighty to break every cycle of bitterness. You will be the first in your bloodline to break generational curses. You will be the one who rebuilds the ruins, who restores the broken walls, and who lifts up my name in the very place that once bore your shame. My beloved, you are not merely a witness to miracles, you are a carrier of miracles. When you speak, hearts will soften. When you pray, chains will break. When you walk, barren ground will flourish, not by your power, but because you have allowed me to dwell fully in you. And you will see, your obedience today will save generations to come. Children not yet born will be blessed because you said yes to my call. So move forward. Do not look back. Do not wait for another confirmation. I have placed fire within you, a fire not meant to be hidden, but to illuminate. You no longer live for yourself. You live to lead. And wherever you pass, life will rise again. Others will find a way out of the darkness because you dared to stand while your wounds were still healing, and still chose to walk in faith, believing that I, the Lord your God, still perform miracles. My beloved child, as you reach the end of this journey, not a conclusion, but the threshold of a new dimension, I want you to pause in sacred silence and hear one more truth. Your name is not only etched in my heart, but engraved upon the crown of eternity, not like a name scribbled on fading paper, nor like a fleeting promise, but as a holy, seal indelible carved by my very finger onto the eternal blueprints of heaven. You are not a wandering soul. You are the one destined to overcome. You once believed that in order for your name to carry worth, you had to accomplish something great, to succeed, to stand out, to be recognized by people. But I declare, what gives your name its true value is not what you do, but who has called you. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. Before anyone ever spoke a word to you, I whispered your name in the sacred expanse. And in every battle you have faced, every tear you have shed, every prayer you have lifted, I was not only beside you, I recorded them. Every moment you chose to stand when you could have collapsed. Every time you chose to forgive when revenge was within reach. Every prayer you uttered when all hope was gone, each one is written in the eternal vault as proof that you belong to me. My child, when the enemy tries to blur your identity, he is not merely targeting your emotion, she is targeting your destiny. He knows that if you forget your true name, the name I called you from before the foundations of the world, you will live as a shadow of yourself. But now I proclaim this over your soul. You are a bearer of royal authority. You are the one chosen from among many. You are the one the kingdom of darkness sought to destroy, but heaven has restored. You are the one the enemy had plans to eliminate, but I had plans to exalt, and you will see. From the moment you reclaim your name, your true name, your sacred name, the name written in light, everything around you will begin to shift. The words you speak will carry weight in the spiritual realm. Whatever you touch will bear eternal imprint. You will no longer borrow identity. You will walk with the unshakable certainty that says, I know who I am in the one who has called me. And when you live from that truth, all of hell will tremble. For nothing is more dangerous than a child who has discovered their true identity in their God. My child, the reward you are receiving is not merely material restoration or visible justice. It is the gift of a crown that does not perish. One day, when you pass through the final door of this temporary life and your soul is called home, you will see an angel come forth to place that crown upon your head. And on that crown, there will be no gold or gemstones, but moments when you were faithful, when you sacrificed, when you loved in secret, when you forgave without witnesses, when you held on to faith though no reason remained to hope. It is these things that will form the radiant light surrounding your name light. No one can take away. Those who once witnessed your stumbling will rise to acknowledge the transformation within you. Generations to come will speak of you as the one who paved the way, who broke free from generational chains, who shattered cycles of sin through a life fully surrendered. And you will no longer need to justify your presence. You will become the living answer to ancient prayers, seal, longings, and unfulfilled promises. You will stand as living proof that God forgets no one. He simply waits for the appointed time to make all things complete. And now, the appointed time is yours. No more delay. No more someday. No more if circumstances allow. This is the moment for you to rise not with eyes cast down, but with a gaze steadfast and clear, not with a heart weighed by shame, but with the posture of one who has been commissioned, not with trembling hands, but with hands ready to build what is eternal. For you are no longer merely a carrier of the story of restoration, You are the embodiment of the declaration, "This is my beloved child, in whom I am well pleased." I am, my child. I am returning to you everything, your identity, your authority, your divine affirmation, and a future that is no longer bound by your past. Go and live fully in that reality. Step into the abundance, the glory, the portion written for you on every page of eternity's book. And never forget, no matter what others may call you, I have always called you by your true name, the name written in blood, in love, and in the promise that never fades. Thank you for listening to today's message. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so we can continue to receive the living words together. Build an unshakable faith and walk in the boundless love of God. Amen.